No, wait, there we go. Okay, now we're live. Good Saturday morning, everyone. November the 1st, 2025. Yeah, this is like my favorite cup, not just because it's Halloweeny, but I just really like this cup. I've had this cup for I think the entire 17 years that I've been in town. I actually picked it up at Main Street Merchandise when they were still over where the bookstore is. The Books on Main. Yeah, that's how long ago it was. Right there in front of, or before you turn down to go into KHOZ. Anyway, but that's my coffee cup. I hope everyone is having a fantastic morning. This is episode 2 in this new adventure that I'm doing that hopefully can inform, entertain, and encourage you to embrace your spark. I know that just sounds so beat to death from me, but you know what? It's just true. My whole goal in evolving into a regular podcast, which if all goes well, we will get together every morning, 8 o'clock ish. I'm a little bit early. I've got plans today, celebrating the 45th anniversary of my in-laws, and you couldn't ask for better in-laws than what I have. Try to prove me wrong. And then if you do, guess what? You're having a pretty good life. So, in this whole process, one of the things that I really want to stress to everyone out there, if you've ever thought about doing anything, be it a podcast, be it videos, be it walking your dog religiously, do it. Just do it. You can fine tune and tweak as you go. And that includes myself. I'd take my own advice in that. Speaking of advice, as we go through, we're going to talk about a few things today. One, this is November 1st. Now, this has been like a lead up to a lot of doom and gloom scrolling that's been going on in the inside of your box and on the headlines on the bigger boxes. And it is a big deal that when it comes to the government shutdown, now we're starting to see and feel things. This is not a particular political bent that I'm going to go on because both sides are stupid. I don't care. We'll talk about that. Then also, as we go into it, I do have some things. If you look in the description, I don't know if the links are working properly because it's the first time I've embedded them in the description. But I got a couple things for you. One being the PDF version that you could download of my 3 Keys to Content Creation workbook. So again, if you're a business, an organization, civic organization, or hobbyist, and you need a little help in getting organized and putting together your regular content to go out, because that's one of those things that's got to go. Okay. I was going to do monitoring, but everything seems to be fine with the audio, so we're going to let that be. So anyway, that's it. Let me move those. But anyway, that little workshop there can help you out, do some self-learning and getting yourself structured. It's amazing what you can do if you just dedicate 5, 10, 15 minutes, an hour on a slow part of your week to really brainstorm out some stuff and then start fleshing out the ideas, because where we live now in the 21st century, content is king for everyone, no matter what you do. So anyway, that can help you get you on your way. Also, there's a link to the PDF version of my 8-hour video workshop, which is it's old. I think I put that together back in 2014. But here's the thing: the foundational principles of it hasn't changed and never will when it comes to building and establishing story for your content. Now, that's specifically tailored towards video, but it can apply to anything else in general. And as we go, I'm going to kind of break those things down, not today, but I mean, as we go forward in the podcast, to give you something to take away with and work with. It'll be good for you. And it's totally free outside of the cost of your internet provider. What else we got? Oh, one more thing. I want to suggest a book to you today that I don't know if you've heard me suggest it before, but I've suggested a lot, and we'll get to that later. But first, let's talk about, well, first off, shout out, and I'm going to do this every day because I have a lot of respect for Brandon Ruley and what he's put together with his Storm team and Storm Track 360 and stormtrack360.com. Let's take a look over there. Hey, look, there's their Facebook page. And so what I'm going to do, again, because Facebook is kind of wonky, and since we're primarily doing this there, let's see here. Okay, cool. So here's a link to Brandon's page where when it comes to, okay, I have to click it more so than just tap it. Anyway, well, that's just weird. Hey, you see me. And there's your backstage. But back over here to Brandon in StormTrack 360. When it comes to emergency weather information, when things are blowing up, Brandon and the crew that he brings in, all volunteers, they all come in to help inform the community. And it's a fantastic service for here in our region of north central and northwest Arkansas, kind of tipping in a little bit, touching on northeast Arkansas, but also south central Missouri and southeastern Missouri. So he's got a coverage. Oh, you can see it right there at the top. Can you see my little cursor? Let's see here. Let's come back over here. If you look over here at the top, right there, you see that? Yeah, you can see my cursor. Cool. So this is the coverage area that Brandon and the crew do their best to stay on top of. And there you go. That's a wide range. I mean, that is a very big coverage area. If you've ever really like paid attention around here, yeah, that's a pretty. And they keep an eye on the storms that are coming in all the way over here from the west and come across all the way there to keep you informed of the big stuff. You know, we can't hop on the air every single time there's anything happening because you would never get a moment's rest ever. But anyway, it's a fantastic service. I cannot support it nearly enough, and the best I can do at this moment is tell you, because if you haven't heard of it, it's great for you. Otherwise, it is cold out. What did I say? Cold. I'm not that much of a weenie when it comes to the weather, but it's 45 degrees out there, and we have a freeze warning that is in effect well, overnight tonight, 1 a.m. is when that freeze warning, or freeze watch, excuse me. Pardon me. See, this is why you got to go with Brandon, because they pay attention to the details. I'm just the old disc jockey who kind of misses that. But anyway, there is a freeze watch coming into play at 1 o'clock in the morning for Sunday morning. And let's see, how long? Let's look at the official from, wait, what? Man, this is funny the way this is reading. But anyway, severity is severe, even though it's a watch. But anyway, if you got critters outside, start thinking about it. If you got plants outside, bring them in, all those things. If it's alive outside, you might want to consider bringing it in tonight before you go to bed. Speaking of which, I also meant to check. Pardon me, I am so prepared, right? But you know what? I'm going to use the robot, another one of the robots. Hey, Siri, when does daylight savings time do its thing? Tomorrow. Okay. So, no, wait. Oh, it ends actually. Okay, so daylight savings time. That's another thing. So we'll fall back. Is that how that works? Either way it goes, we're going to pick up an hour, but that's coming up. So when you wake up in the morning, my 8 o'clock will still be 8 o'clock, but it's actually going to be 7 o'clock. But I'm willing to do it to get up and talk to you. So, all right, now then, let's take a look at what's happening with the the government shutdown. Now it's been going on for a while. Let's see, what's the official again? Let me get back over here to kind of get my facts straight, because that's another thing I want to talk to you about when it comes to this and why I'm talking about it, because it's kind of a scary time. So now let's see here. Now they began. It's been like a month or so ago, or close to a month now, that the government has shut down. I'm still living and breathing. How about you? But there are things that are starting to come out or starting to happen now that are actually hitting the streets. When it comes to, with a big one right now, and today is the day that everybody's been led up to for this emotional pitch thing of the SNAP benefits program has got issues, plural, because now people are not going to be seeing them. That's what we understand. That's what we've been told. Now here's it. Again, take your politics, throw them away. Okay. Don't, I'm just going to, the rock I'm going to stand on is when it comes to the political divide, have your convictions. Absolutely. Whatever they are, they're yours. And so far, we're still a free country. Embrace them. Okay. However, don't be mindful of getting too caught up in the confirmation bias that's being perpetuated by the two and sometimes more media sources that are going to like really feed into the fear of either side. Be careful of that, okay? Because again, kindness is key. That's the path to love, and that's where my take is. I've got my own thing. I vote a certain way, and that's my business, not yours, right? You can presume whatever you want, and that's okay. But my point and purpose in talking about this issue and many issues to come is that these little boxes, they control so much of what you think you think. I know it's done it to me forever, and I've worked really hard to ask myself if my thought is my own, how much of it is influenced by someone else kicking in. So how do you get past that? You go and you get the information. I'm going to show you my stream of consciousness this morning when it came to prepping for the show and to talk about this topic. Um, if any of you know me as a journalist and reporter for all the years that I was doing such things in a professional capacity, um, when it came to covering a story, I like to let the camera roll more so than cutting everything up. I could condense and things like that, but I did my best to let when there was an actuality. That's the term for recording the people talking and just directly from the source. And I like to let them just be, not edit a whole lot. Let their own words be theirs instead of trying to put any bias one way or the other in the edit before I presented it to you. And the way you do that is you always go directly to the source, right? So now what I've done this morning, and this is one of those things to where the AI large language models, they're handy. They are. If you're not familiar with any of them, be it Grok or ChatGPT, Gemini, and God only knows how many more are out there nowadays. They are useful tools. Basically, the way I see them now, after having experimented with them for a couple of years now, they're what has replaced search engines. So before you would go to Google, type in your question, and you get a list of stuff. That doesn't work so well anymore because they've got the AI assistants in there that just gives you a summary of everything. And if you're happy, and go on about your business. If you even go that far and don't just take whatever headline you see and just call that good enough info. Anyway, I for this particular deep dive ish, I went to ChatGPT to get more of the info on the breakdown. Now, if you tell this thing to be honest, truthful, factual, it does pretty good. But the other thing is to ask for it to provide official links. Like right here, what type of stopgaps are being done by Arkansas, Missouri? And please provide any official site links. Now, that is remarkably important in using these tools. You got to kind of think a little extra to get it to give you good results, but you can do it and then do your own due diligence. Because again, if you've got a source that you trust to actually shoot straight with you and not just say one side's bad, the other side's worse, well, good. But they're hard to find, but I hope you do. And I hope I can help be one of those to encourage you to do that. And if I can, bring you the information from as middle of the road as possible. Now, my query was now the intricacies and complexities of how funding works inside of government programs is just it's red tape and nonsense and mainly political footballs in a lot of instances, and unfortunately that impacts lives, real lives, your real 5 cents three-dimensional lives, because a lot of people, regardless of what your particular bias is, let's strip everything down. The thing is, there are programs in place from the government that people, like any tool, it can either be used for good or it can be used for bad. And politicians will use them for manipulation. I'll stand on that rock too. But the point is that they're in place and people have gotten used to them. And it's like any other form of tool or technology that once you're used to it, you're going to use it. And the more you do, it becomes a habit. Then it's just an afterthought, right? A lot of these programs have become that. And when it comes to the SNAP program, there's no difference there. And right now it's been used a lot in the emotional roller coasters that people do, or get exposed to when it comes to social media feeds. So, and yours is tailored specially for you to elicit emotions. Remember that. But what I wanted to do though, that was not an earthquake. That was me fumbling a little. But one of the things that I'm wanting to do is I want to get a little bit more information for real, because, okay, for real, the funding for the program itself has stopped with the lack of government and the passage of the 2026 bill and all of that, right? So what does that mean? Now, the talking heads out there on both sides are pretty much talking about how 42 million Americans are about to starve to death. There's going to be riots and looting and all that. May happen. I don't know. Hope not. Hope people are smarter than that. And I hope other folks can help other people out that are close to you. And maybe, now, as I put in the description there, this could be an opportunity for some rip off the Band-Aid stuff, to where we kind of come to terms with we don't necessarily need the big governing body to provide everything we need. Just saying. I don't care what side it is. It doesn't matter. Bigger government, smaller government. I'm going to root with the smaller. because once long as humans are in charge or AI, let me clarify that now, as long as there's potential bias or not enough bias or sympathy, empathy, and compassion making decisions, we'll have issues. We always will. However, if we look out for one another, start with yourself, your family, your friends, and your community, and it'll get better. But I wanted to go and see what was really going on out there. So let me come back over here to my screen. And when it comes to what's happening in Arkansas, what I wanted to see, Arkansas and Missouri is primarily who I'm looking for. You can, in your state, wherever you happen to be watching this, you can do a Google search or any other search to find out if you're not already plugged into your official state government's responses to these things. You can do so. Like in Arkansas, one of the things is, as you can see, that the DHS warns of possible delay or disruption of SNAP benefits if shutdown continues. Now, one of the things, and I clicked that first link, in the state of Arkansas, we'll get to Missouri here in a moment, but as you can see, I'll be glad to, it's small text. The Arkansas Department of Human Services is advising Arkansans enrolled in the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program that they should prepare for a possible delay or disruption in November. Hey, that's where we are, if the federal government shutdown continues into next month. Okay, so now right now, as far as what we know officially, if you go to the official arkansas.gov, humanservices.arkansas.gov website to get the official statement from the state, you can get the information directly. But the state itself is not doing anything that I see here officially. So what they are recommending is for you to identify your local food pantries, churches, community organizations that can provide temporary food assistance. And so there are a lot of giving folks out here who have put these places together, who do a lot of really good things all the time. Because see, that's the thing, food insecurity is real with or without SNAP. I know here in north central Arkansas and the Boone County, Newton County, and the surrounding areas here where I am, a lot of folks need assistance anyway, and they don't qualify for the SNAP benefits for whatever reason. So this has been hunger in America is okay. Opinion time. This is one of those things that makes no sense to me, frankly, because uh, if we're 36 or 38 trillion dollars in debt right now, I mean, and we the people are allegedly responsible for all that debt, then at least make sure everybody can eat. Um, that just makes sense to me. Anyway, the other thing is point number 2 there is reach out to family and friends who may be able to help out, and then check for eligibility for the WIC program. So if you're not on WIC, you may be able to do that. Now, one of the tricks there is while the federal government offices are closed, the state government offices are still rolling because they haven't, those workers are still in play. But now how far they can go and do, I don't understand how much one's intertwined with the other, as far as how much the state offices have to rely on the federal. So I can't speak directly to that, but there looks to be some options. But anyway, keep an eye on that. And again, that's humanservices.arkansas.gov to go straight there. Now, looking over at Missouri, now this is just a few days ago from Jeff City there. Governor Mike Kehoe announced additional steps his administration is taking to expedite food assistance for at-risk Missourians, given the impending loss of et cetera, et cetera. Now, they're noting here in this press release that the SNAP benefits are 100% federally funded, but the state of Missouri is looking to try to supplement a little bit as best they can. Because again, don't forget, there's a lot of legal stuff that happens with this that it sounds like at the push of a button someone should be able to do something, you would think, but no, because there are laws and procedures in place that the governing bodies are supposed to follow, so that way we keep them, it's checks and balances, right? Anyway, back with what Governor Kehoe in Missouri has done. He's directed $10.6 million as a fund transfer from the Senior Services Growth and Development Fund over to Missouri area agencies on aging to help fund some of the area agencies. I don't know if that's happening in Arkansas yet, but that's one of the things that Missouri is doing. And then he's also ordered $5 million to be distributed to Missouri food banks using temporary assistance for needy families funding. Okay, so there are things happening, and it looks like their WIC program is also going to be doing well. Okay, now That's what we've okay, that's the facts. Okay, that's where we are. States are looking at this situation and doing the best they can as far as what state funding can do to help those who are directly impacted. I do say once again, anything you can do for someone you know that's in your circle, help them out. You know, if you're one of those people who need the help, you know what? Don't be too proud. You ain't begging, man. Sometimes it gets lean. Sometimes it becomes a way of life. That's a different story. This is that rip the band-aid off thing. But either way, no one should ever go hungry in this country. We've got no. We are the land of milk and honey. We are. So anyway, that said, the lesson and takeaway there is look at why we're here where we are. If there are the talking point being 42 million Americans are going to be impacted. Well, why are we in this situation? Because it's not that 42 million people are sitting on their duff doing nothing. Oh, some will try to frame it that way. But the truth is, from what I've seen, is there are more people who are considered the working poor to where you're just not making enough money. You can be working full time now, and that's not 40 hours a week anymore. It can actually be a lot less, and 30 hours a week being considered full time. So, depending on how much you're making, which I guarantee is it's going to be tight to ever be able to cover what you need. So, don't again look a little deeper than what the headlines and the talking heads want to say when it comes to who those 42 million Americans are. You might be surprised. So, but again, remember when you're looking and you're hearing things, if you get an emotional punch in the gut and you get riled up one way or the other, take the time to do some of your own digging beyond the headlines because we still have an internet that works for the most part. And we have a lot of, again, the AI tools, they are what they are. You can't trust them 100%, but what could you ever trust 100% online? But use the tool. Let it help you track down the links and the information. And while you do, you fact check it as you go. That's it. I'm going to hope to help you along that way. Speaking of, sorry, this is like only my second cup of coffee for the morning. So I need that little juice as we go. But the other side of this thing is like, okay, well, how do we fix it? A lot of the things that I see out there is complaining about the problems, but not nearly enough of the solutions. So what I've done and what I can do, this is all I can do, is in my role as a human being and the stuff that I do, again, I want to encourage you to be the best you can be um, because we all need a little encouragement, right? The way I've done it over the years is I like to teach people things. Now I can provide services, and if you would like to work with me, you can email me or you can message me here. But Jim at toysrtotems.com, you can email me that way to reach out, and we can connect and see what we might be able to work out. But I've already created a lot of stuff that can, if you're a business owner, again, civic organization, hobbyist, whatever, and you need a little help or boost or jump start in getting the gray matters to start turning. I got two things. Again, they're in the description, and if the link isn't working, then I'm going to come back in and I'll put them in the comments section. But you can download these PDFs. One being the 3 keys to content creation workshop, to where it can help walk you through a brainstorming with muscle process, to where if you got 15, 20, 30 minutes, an hour that's nothing going on, well, if you got time to lean, you got time to clean, right? So it can help you in that process in developing those campaigns. And because we all have to do it now. If you're wanting to, if you're, especially if you're in business, and the old days of being able to rely on that one central point, like a radio, television, or newspaper campaign, they don't work like they used to. I'm not dogging those guys. It's just the truth. I mean, when's the last time you tuned in the radio, turned on the television, or read a newspaper? Um, I can't read your mind and I don't know your schedule, but I'm going to bet it's not like it used to be, if ever, for the younger folks out there. So, learning how to create that stuff and getting on top of it, again, the 3 keys to content creation PDF will help you in that. The other is when it comes to creating said content, if you need help in writing, producing, scripting, and doing the whole shebang of producing video, I've got a guide. Again, this is an older guide I need to update, which I will be from 2014. The foundation will never change though. Ever, 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 ever. If you want to make a video, it works exactly the same way. All the main foundational points you want to keep in play. And you'll find that I've got an 8-hour video workshop PDF that will walk you through the different roles and things and brainstorming and all that, right? And it works really great if you have a team to work with because then you can delegate. But if you're like, I've been for pretty much the whole time I've been in Harrison. You got to do it by yourself. And so that was another thing is I wanted to streamline processes when you are a solopreneur that you can do it by yourself and you can get through it and you don't have to cut too many corners. Because again, once you know the language and you know the dance steps, you can get so much more done. And I'm hoping those guys will help you with that. The other thing is I want to recommend a book to you because another thing in all of this stuff is remembering that we got it starts with you, it starts with me, it starts with us individually to make ourselves better. One way that a lot of folks do is that don't do anymore is to read more than just the screen. These are handy, don't get me wrong, I love the ebooks, I love blogs and articles and things like that. They're great, but also pick up an old school book, and this one right here, The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. This is one of those books that for me, maybe not for you, but for me, it was powerful in one simple thing that he presents. And that's called, he names entertainment when it comes to that little voice that always pops up in your head with the most negative, fearful crap you could ever think of. He calls it resistance with a capital R. That rang so true with me that I recommend this book to everyone I know. And now that we know each other here, well, guess what? I'm going to recommend it to you. You can find it on Amazon, look on eBay, look wherever. Go to your local bookstore if you still have one. The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. I found a link or two, so you get the book. I'm telling you, if you feel stuck or you feel like you're in this perpetual hamster wheel of I can't do it, I shouldn't do it, why do it now? Somebody else has already done it. Well, that's resistance talk to you. It's just like me in this podcast. I'm seriously, this is not pedestalizing myself, bragging or boasting or anything like that. It is a matter of you get that thing in your head and you're like, well, why should I do it? Everybody else is doing it. Well, but here's the truth when it comes to doing stuff like this is now a lot of the things, if I'm going to put together something like we're talking about the government shutdown of the SNAP thing, me personally, I want to give you as straight information as I can to not mislead or misguide you. And my opinion, I will tell you when it's my opinion about something. And I'll just leave it wide open like, oh, this is the facts. No, I don't want that. That's just me. But that's also just me. And so in sharing that perspective, you may not have thought of it like that. Your perspective may not be something I've thought about. And when we talk and we discuss things, we learn things. Crazy, huh? But the point in all of that is that we want to have dialogue as far as Mike and podcasting and other big mass media messaging does something good. There you go. So that's going to wrap everything up because again, I'm celebrating an anniversary today with my in-laws. I'm going to come over here, take a look for any comments. And okay, I think we're good right now. Good. Anyway, if you would like to learn more about me, what I do, how I could help you, if you want to, you can go to my website, jimbumgardner.com. I do a daily blog, just a little thing that pops in thanks to a daily prompt. There'll be more there. And then also you can get my book, toysreturns.com. You can buy it directly from me at my Amp Multimedia store or through Amazon. And either way, the book will be good for you, but you can save money if you buy it direct from me. Anyway, I got to go. I got things to do. You guys have a great rest of the day.